Hello my lovely crochet lovers, it's Diane here with another great crochet project for you. It's a cushion cover made using the beautiful Alpine Stitch. I have recycled two of my old cushion insides to make this and it's turned out great, and now my cushions actually match my furniture. If you would like to make one for yourself, then carry on watching and I will take you through step by step on how to make this cushion cover. Also, I would really love to hear from you guys on what you would like to see a tutorial on, as I want to bring you videos on projects that you would like to do. So please leave a suggestion in the comments section below. But for now, let's get started on this cushion cover. So for this project, I was scurrying around in my yarn stash and I found two different colours in the chenille type yarn that I wanted to use. This one is just the right thickness. It's a chunky weight yarn, but this one it's not. But I wanted to use it because it's so soft, fluffy, but I needed to double up. So when I use this colour I'm doubling up with 2 strands at a time. But what I'll do is I'll leave a link in the description for a yarn alternative that you can use, so you don't have to be doubling up like this. But just for this tutorial purposes, you'll just so I can show you the stitch pattern and everything. Yeah, I'm just using 2 strands of this instead of 1 to make it the same thickness as the lilac. Also, I'm using it's an 8mm crochet hook. So let's get started. So to start, we make our slip knot and we're going to make our chain, and the chain is going to be a multiple of 2 plus 1. Now the cushion covers that I've made is for a 16 by 16 inch cushion, and if you're following along exactly this pattern and you're using the same crochet hook size, you need to crochet a chain of 36 plus 1. But if you're making a bigger one, then just make a chain in a multiple of 2 to the length of your cushion that you want to make. If it's 18-inch cushion, make your chain 18 inches long, and then just remember to add 1 at the end. So go ahead and make your chain for the length you want your cushion. In this case, I'm doing 36 chains plus 1 at the end. So go ahead and do that and I'll meet you there. Okay, so for row 1, simply pop a single crochet into that second chain from the hook. And then single crochet in every chain all the way along your foundation chain row. Now with this chenille yarn, sometimes because it's a bit fluffy, you have to just sort of feel where your stitch is. Make sure that you're getting your crochet hook into each stitch here. So row 1 is simply single crochet in every stitch along your foundation row. and I'll meet you at the end of the row. Okay, at the end of row 1, chain 2, turn your work, and this row, starting with the second chain from the hook, place a double crochet into that second chain from the hook, and then a double crochet into every stitch along the row, just like that, all the way along. Here we are at the end of row 2. Just don't forget to pop your last stitch into that chain, turning chain that you made to keep the edges nice and straight. And then row 3, chain 1. Turn your work and single crochet into this first chain, first stitch here, and then another row of single crochet stitches all the way along. So this is just the first few rows of just setting up, ready to start the stitch pattern. So continue along row 3, popping in a single crochet into every stitch. And again at the end of the row, it's important you don't forget to put your last stitch into that chain 2, keeping your edges nice and straight. Okay, so we're going to go on to creating the Alpine stitch. So chain 2 and turn your work. Bring the camera in so you can see clearly what I'm doing. We are going to be working into, we're going to be using this post that are from the double crochet row below. So yarn over and find your first post, which is this one here. Put your hook around the back. Now, and to keep your tension nice and loose, because we're going to be drawing up, yarn over, pull your loop through and pull the yarn up to the height, because you're pulling it up and above this row of single crochets. So just pull it up nice and tall there, then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So as you can see, you've pulled it up and over this row of single crochet stitches here. Now if you look behind here, there's a single crochet stitch there. We're going to skip that one. If you follow the post all the way up, we're going to put a double crochet into this stitch here. So yarn over, hook into the top of that stitch this time, make your double crochet. Okay, so that's for this post here. We've double crocheted at the top, so we skip this one here and we're going to front post double crochet into the next. So yarn over, put your hook in, keeping your yarn nice and loose in your fingers so that you can pull that stitch up as far as you can, nice and tall. Even give it a little pull there. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now, as we go along, don't worry if your work starts to curl. Because we're pulling these stitches up, it does have a tendency of curling. But when you've done do enough rows, it will flatten out. So we skip that stitch and double crochet into the next. And then we're on to the front post double crochet again. Put your hook through, bring up your loop nice and tall, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And then into this next stitch here, do a double crochet. And you can see the pattern already starting to emerge. So if you can see, we've put a double crochet in here, which is following up from this post. So we're going to front post into this one. So we're front post double crochet stitching into every other post. And then just a regular double crochet in between those. There's your front post double crochet, and then yarn over and put just a regular double crochet into that one there. Okay, and continue along your row just like this. And then that double crochet in between. The next one will be this one. So if you keep your work nice and straight, it becomes more obvious which one you need to put the front post double crochet stitch in. Okay, so continue along the row exactly like this. Front post double crochet in every other post and a double crochet in between, just as a regular double crochet, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. So at the end of the row, you'll see you've got 2 stitches left after putting in your last front post double crochet. So I'm putting in a double crochet here, and in the last stitch we put a regular double crochet stitch into that very last stitch. So for row 5, chain 1, turn your work, and starting with the first stitch, put in a single crochet, and then single crochet into every stitch all the way along the row. Try and keep this single crochet stitch row nice and loose. It helps to stop, with the curling. It will curl, but if you keep your stitches as loose as possible, it helps. So put in a single crochet stitch all the way along till the end of the row. And coming up to the end of this row, make sure you put your single crochet into the top of that turning chain to keep the edges nice and straight. Just put it in the second chain up, and it will keep your edges nice and straight. Okay, so we're on row 6, so chain 2 and turn. Now this row is slightly different. See here, we've got the front post double crochet in this first post. So we're going to alternate our stitches. So where you see that you've done a front post double crochet here, put in a regular double crochet at the top of that one, just like that. And then you just use your fingers, you'll see here we're doing a front post double crochet in every other stitch again, every other post. So this one's got a front post double crochet, so we're going to put our next one in here. So yarn over, put your hook around the back of that post, and again keeping your wool nice and loose. Pull up your stitch as tall as you can and make your double crochet. And then you see this one where it's had a front post double crochet stitch in. Follow that one up to the stitch here and put a double crochet stitch into the top there. And then if you just use your fingers, you'll see in between these two posts, this one here, pop your front post double crochet stitch in there. And then you'll see this one here, follow it up to this stitch here, put in a double crochet stitch. And again, if you have a look, you'll see tucked in between these two here, you push that out with your fingers there, and you can do your front post double crochet in there. And at the top of this one, double crochet in there. And again, in between, so you skip this one, and in between these two here is this one here. Put your front post double crochet stitch in there. There we go. So continue like that all the way until the end of the row. And again, at the end of the row, don't forget to put your last double crochet into this chain space here. There we go. Brilliant. And you can see the pattern starting to emerge. Now, this is the front of your work, and that's what the back looks like. So every time you're working on the front of your work, you know that you're doing your front post double crochet stitches, but in between every single one of those rows, for example, this next row, will always be a row of single crochet stitches. So you chain one, turn your work, and put in a row of single crochet stitches all the way along, and it just prepares that next row ready for the next lot of your front post double crochet stitches. Now I'm going to change colour at the end of this row. So for this pattern, I'm changing, apart from the initial double crochet, the initial single crochet row, I'm changing colours every 4 rows. So you've got your 2 lots of front post double crochet stitches here, and then I'll do a row of single crochet stitches ready for the next row, and then but I'm changing colour. Obviously you can change colour however you want. You can do the whole thing in one colour or several colours. For this pattern, I'm changing colour every 4 rows once we've got into the Alpine Stitch pattern, every 4 rows. So continue along with your single crochet stitches all the way to the end of this row, and I'll show you how to change colour and continue with the next lot of front post double crochets. So at the end of the row, I'm going to change colour. So I'm going to finish with my last stitch single crochet, and instead of finishing the stitch with the lilac colour, I'm just going to snip that off
and grab my next colour. I'm just doubling up on this white yarn, but using it as one strand. So I'll hook that over the hook and finish the single crochet stitch with that new colour. So for your next round, chain 2 and turn your work, and as you can see, we're back onto the front post double crochet stitches, and by this point it should become fairly obvious which one is your first front post double crochet stitch. And if you look, if you can recognize the pattern, it's slightly offset, this one, this one. So this one is going to be your next front post double crochet stitch. So in that first one there. And then, as before, follow this one up to the top, and you'll see that's where you put your double crochet stitch in there. And then the same as before, in between these two front post double crochet stitches, you can see this one here. Put your hook through and round, and as always, try and pull your stitch up nice and tall, and then make your double crochet. So this in fact is a repeat of row 4. So if you need to rewind the video, which goes into more detail, you can do so. The stitch, I mean, it's such a beautiful stitch. You may look at them and think that's probably too complicated, but it really is. Once you get going, it's brilliant. It's very simple, as you can see, just alternating your front post double crochet stitch with your regular double crochet stitch. So there's how we've changed colour. So I'm going to do another 4 rows of this. Don't forget to do your single crochet row in between these front post double crochet rows, and keep crocheting until you've reached the height that you want your cushion cover. In this case, it will be 16 inches, and I will meet you there.
So here's one panel of your cushion cover when you've finished crocheting to the height that you want your cushion cover to be. As you can see, I've started to sew in the ends, which you need to do. So go around and finish off sewing in all your ends. This is the front, and the back looks like this. What you need to do now is go ahead and make another one exactly the same. So there's your two sides to your cushion cover. So go ahead now and make another one exactly the same. So now we're going to sew the cushion covers together and decide which is going to be your bottom. As I'm going to go round in the lilac colour, this is going to be the bottom, and what you need to do is sew them together with the two right sides facing each other on the inside, so that we're sewing the inside out. I'm going to start at this bottom corner here, and you can attach your yarn any way you prefer, but I'm just going to pop my hook in there and then in the bottom corner of the next panel, and pull my wool through and tie a knot to join, and then pull up a loop, chain one, and then in each stitch all the way just pop in a single crochet. So at the sides of the cushion, the stitches aren't obvious, but just evenly space them. Find where you can put your hook through. Might be a little bit awkward, but try to put it as near to the edge as you can. And again in here. And with these bits where you've got your front post double crochet, I'm just going to put the stitch through the very edge of that chain stitch there. So it's right on the edge of the cushion. Just take your time. There we go. So put in your single crochet stitches all the way around, three sides, leaving the bottom part open to put your inside in. Okay, so once you've sewn around all three sides and then turn the whole thing right side up, this is what you have. And as I'm recycling my old cushions and they've gone kind of flat, I'm using two. All we need to do now is put in
our cushion insides. As carefully as possible. So I'm just trying, it's like putting a duvet in a duvet cover, trying to get the corners right into the corners. Just take your time, wiggle it around. Okay, so here we go. Obviously I want to sew in those ends. Now, all we're going to do now is, at the bottom here, is we're going to just slip stitch to join the bottom. Okay, so I'm trying to get this last bit on camera for you. I'm using a smaller hook. It's a 5.5mm hook size, and if I would normally do something like this on my lap, but I'm trying to show you on camera. It's a straightforward slip stitch. Put my hook in that side and then into the corresponding stitch on the other side. Pull through and then pull through. So just keep going, push the cushion in. Slip stitching your way all the way across to the other side. And that just closes up your cushion. So once you've slip stitched all the way across, there's your bottom seam, and here is your beautiful plush cushion.